My name's Margaret. Welcome to Card Readings. I'm doing Madeleine McCann again, chapter 9 and 10. Just to keep your heads up, I am not doing readings related to this. It's just stuff that Kate put in the book. It's just kind of like drop points, so it's not, I will have theories in it, but it's no readings in itself. I'll share that with you. Secondly, this is chapter 9 and 10, and the second reason I'll say this is I think it's 3, 4 and 5 when they talk about on the way going to Pog the tea and when Madeleine went missing a day or two after. And so what they do sounds like to me like there's this chapter on called No Stone Unturned. That's part of when she went missing. So it's just put a bit out and use that for a chapter. So I thought I'd share that with you because I thought that was interesting. I didn't realise it till a couple of chapters ago where it's just got the whole story, 3 chapters of the story of Madeleine, and then they're just pregnant that part. So that's what I got. So this is interesting. I'm going to talk about a young guy, Robbie, and I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm going to spell it out for you. Murat. Now this guy, he meant to live close to this shelter that the family was staying at. And that's okay, it's fine. And they did say people have seen him around. I think it was Russell, Rachel, I think his name, and Trevor and David. No, Trissa. And I find that really interesting. The police kind of did question him, but didn't question him. And the reason I'm saying this, when he had a fan, he had a fan that he was staying at too. And I find this is interesting because if you just been watching the news the last few days or week, there's a guy in jail and they think he's connected to Madeleine's murder. There's 2 stories in this one where I think it poked the thing that she's dead, and the Britain people, I think Britain or the UK, thinks she's alive. They're not sure. So, but this is interesting because the guy in prison, like I said, they think he's connected, but he had a fan. So maybe it's the same guy, I thought. The only difference is this guy was on holidays. He said, called him a drifter, where he comes and goes. And I thought that's interesting in itself because, like I said, last few days we're talking about this young man. Was he involved, wasn't he involved? So that's interesting. Now, I don't know why this is important, but I feel like I need to share it with you. Now, there's a Sharon, she's the spokesperson for the McCann's family. Now, I don't know why I think it's important, but I just thought I would share that with you. So, yeah. And this is, and so it found I saw this Robert guy too. So it's about, from what I get, it's about 5 people saw this Robert guy. They did report him, or they didn't. I think they did, but they didn't think much of him because he was from that place. So I thought that's an interesting story, isn't it? But then Jerry went home for a couple of days and came back. Now, in the book, I have to admit, it doesn't sound like any major thing. Yeah, I have to admit, it doesn't sounds like, it just doesn't sound like anything, but no one get into it. Like I said, I'm not doing a reading here, but I did say in my reading, I hear that he did it. So that's interesting. I just thought maybe not, but there's just a thought there. Like I said, I will talk about a bit of my theories, but there's no readings in it. So that's interesting. And it's interesting too, it's sorry yeah. So and the other thing is, and I could be wrong here, but at this stage in chapter 10, Kate's okay with the psychic stuff of it, and I'll talk to you more about this later. But there is certain things that she says about it. I think it's the Portuguese where they had someone. She went to the police station and she met a person, and she said she's got a crystal go around them like a kind of a texting. That's what they call it in psychic thing. They text this person. So it's like that white bubble thing. No, there's two things in this. The reason I'm putting this out, I know out in the public, and I don't think it's no matter what country. I know London doesn't, Britain doesn't, America and Australia doesn't do it. Police don't work with psychics. I know there's shows out there that they say, yes, we work with psychics, no, don't work with psychics. Actually, they don't work with psychics. I know this through, I went to a police station once and I picked up something and I just wanted to pass this on to him. And he said, no, sorry, we can't use it, we need evidence. So I know this for facts that they don't use psychics. But what she says in this story, this psychic, this was a police officer, came to get Kate and Jerry, take them to the station, and this lady with a crystal wand or whatever, and like just moving around their face, around bodies. And it's a no. Police don't allow that to happen. It's very unlikely a police will let someone do that. Especially in 2007, they're not going to let them do that. It's very it's not appropriate, as I would call it. It's not appropriate. And I must admit, as a psychic, if someone did that to me, I thought, you're bloody idiot. That's not going to help the situation. I want to know where my daughter is, I would say. And that's interesting in itself, because there's something, I'll write to you later, but there is something I want to say, something else to this, and I've got to listen. So yeah, that's one thing. Granted, she says she's not, she knows there are people are con artists out there, but not all con artists, so I do give her a heads up for that. But saying what she said about the police with a psychic, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. It's unprofessional about it. I know that myself. Like I said, as a psychic, I know that's not going to help a situation. So I don't know why a police officer would let a person do that. So I thought that's interesting. So, and it's interesting too, because I'm picking up when I was reading it. Now, I could be wrong here, right? I could be wrong here, where she says certain people gone home and certain people stay. But I'm sure she's changed her names again, so it's interesting. Now, I can't go through all the names because it's like 50 people she talks about through the whole story. So that's interesting. And there's Clarence. Now, he's now kind of like a spokesperson too with the media, and I thought that's interesting. And the other thing is, I can't remember how to say it, so I'm going to say it, the CEOP. Now, they work with missing people, and I thought, and they're a police, and I thought that's a good one, because they're more, there are genuine police, like they have that one area they look into and they're working on. To the other ones I talked to you in the last few chapters, where there's at least 6 different police areas. Yeah, 6 different police, work in different areas, and not really focusing on missing people. And I thought that's really weird. Where this time she talks about this CEO people, and they're just focusing on missing people, and I thought that would be more normal, because the other things where they said, she said, the last chapters where they work on terrorist attacks and with environment stuff, you know. And I thought, yes, I get people hoping on missing people, but these people sounds like they're bigger in a missing person. Like, yes, don't get me wrong, medicine's important, but you got your stepletters, and I feel like terrorism and crime and stuff is higher in that. Like you might have like the normal breaking injury stuff, and then you got maybe I don't know, something else, then your murder cases, then your crimes, missing people stuff. Then you might have your natural floodings and all that, like natural causes and that. Then you have your terrorism and bombings and all that. Yeah, I feel like the terrorism that should be higher in a missing person. Like I said, medicine's important, I'm not knocking that, but it sounds like it's two different areas. It's not the one area kind of thing. It's like you know how you go to a hospital and you got someone who's giving birth and you have your nurses learning that. Then you got people who just deals with trauma, you know, and then you got other people who deals with basic operations. It's kind of like that, how I see with the police. I don't see it everyone's together kind of thing. So I thought I'd share that with you, because that makes more sense, the CEOP working with missing people, not the other way. Yeah, and the person was talking, she was talking about the psychic, the person that came, they took her to see this psychic, and she didn't know she was a psychic. Modern police, I don't know what that stands for, but I think it might be a different word, but modern police, so that was fine, interesting. Now, with Jerry, he went home for a couple of days. He went to his home country, but he stayed with a couple of friends, because he told Kate it was just a bit too much for him to go home. So, this might not mean anything. I must admit, it might not mean anything, but, and I'm not going to do a reading, but I did say in my reading, I hear Daddy did it, so it might not mean nothing, but it might mean something. I thought that's interesting. What else do I have to share with you? With medicine, like, as I've been told in the book, Justice of Service, I think it's called, where property police has to hold back information. They can't share the information to anyone. It's just their job. Yeah, it's just how these people work. But Kate knows this, but it sounds like they had some kind of information they didn't share with anyone, and Kate's getting upset with it. Now, I'm sorry, but I understand it's a child, her child missing, and she loves her to death kind of thing, and Jerry does too. But if you know the system that they can't share, would you be upset with that? I would say little things would be good, like maybe we might have a lead, that kind of stuff, it'd be fine. But I mean, you won't say, oh, this Robert guy we're having in custody, because you can't talk about it, yeah? So it's interesting. I thought that's really interesting. In media, like I said, with media, in the last thing, as she went to, and I thought it was good, like I said, BBC, and then they filmed her with an interview, and they will leak it out to other people, yeah, and news. But it's interesting, so in chapter 10, she said she had been going to different media places to do interviews, so it's a different thing again. Like I said, this is all Kate's words. I'm not saying anything it's not in here, unless it's a theory, like the psychic thing, like Jerry it is, but most of it is what's in the book. It's actually in the book, and Kate written it. So I thought that's interesting. I think that was it. The other thing I want to talk to you, it might not, I could have got this wrong, but there's a thing in this, they talk about books. I've got to set up this book. This is I think it's the fourth one that they put water out. The fourth one or the fifth one came out, and I've got the second edition too, because the second edition is old. It's hard to get my scanner to work on it, so I bought a new one. And this one came in. But I'm sure in my other book it says she's not happy with psychics, and she has 3 boxes where it's half facts that she can work on. Facts that might work, might be useful, but put on the bottom line, and then it's not important stuff. And one of them was your psychic stuff, and she's not happy with it because there's another story in this later on I'll share with you. But I'm sure that said that in the other book. Now I could be wrong, it might be in the future, so we'll see what happened later, but that's interesting in itself. So just tell me what you think about it. Like, it's really interesting. Like, I feel like someone did something to this book too. It feels it might be a little bit different to the other book I got. So if you have the first or the second edition of Madeline's book, and you better tell me what you think, because it's really interesting. I just feel like I have to change this a bit. So maybe because I did read the first one 3 or 4 years ago, so it might be just that. So just tell me what you think. This is chapter 9 and 10. The next one will be 11 and 12. I might start putting 4 together, 3 or 4 together, because as you can see when I'm talking about this one, if it's shorter, so it might be, instead of having 2 chapters together, it might be 3 or 4. And that's pretty much it. So just tell me what you think. Is it all in my head, or does this book doesn't make sense? Like, this is the thing, like, I mean, I'm kind of up to 10. I'm doing 11, 12 next, so I'll be halfway through this book. Does it make sense to you? Because it doesn't, and I will highly recommend, if anyone's into this with Madeleine Kate, try and get the book. Even if it's on the internet, like you can read it off the internet, or if you can get like audio books or whatever, I will highly recommend buying it. I'll trying to get it in your local library, maybe. I will highly recommend it, because I know for me it makes no sense, and I just want to know what you guys think of it. Does it make sense to use? Yeah, and like I said, I'm not doing a reading with this one. I'm just getting it all from the book, or by her mother. It's no one else. It's just her mother writing this book. So, yeah, tell me what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe if you want to. If you want some more information I post. So, stay tuned for chapter 11 and 12. I'll see you later. Bye.